Welcome back to the crypto realm, everybody. So we're going to talk about the tokenization of everything. We're going to hear from Larry Fink because the big boys are already talking about this, and it's just the next step in the evolution of blockchain and crypto and real world assets, right? Liquidity. Right now, it could take days for somebody to get a loan, take days for transactions to go through. With blockchain, it opens up the world to like instantaneous liquidity. Think about, we're going to take a look at an article and it mentions some examples, and you'll see exactly how this takes us from like an analog system and it streamlines us into the future. So let's take a look at Larry Fink and what he has to say about it, and then we'll see some examples from the article.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of the huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, well, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in an ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we can have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code right, of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Tokenize everything. So, wow, this is definitely going to happen. This is the future. This is only the most logical step of how things are going to happen. Streamlined and smooth. Now let's take a look at some examples of how this makes sense, because owning your own assets is the best thing you could do in your whole life. Let's get down here where we can take a look at this. Let me get my face out the way. So, even intellectual property can be tokenized. Let's start with a hypothetical. Think of someone running a YouTube channel who makes how-to videos about cooking. Say Sid says Sid Powell, CEO and co-founder of Maple, which tokenizes assets and then turns them into collateral. Nice. Now imagine that this YouTube cook, who's funny and charismatic, has grown a large audience. She earns $50,000 per month from YouTube ad revenue. The creator could tokenize that copyright and sell it to a financier. We buy the token copyright off them. We own the rights to all the royalty streams from their YouTube cooking videos, explains Powell. If the annual royalties are valued at $600,000, the financier could buy at $550,000, allowing some built-in yield, which gives the chef a loan against these future earnings. This type of model exists in the world of larger music companies and private equity, says Powell, but is not accessible to the smaller players. Tokenization makes these tools more inclusive. Tokenization has the potential to democratize access to capital markets for borrowers, says Morgan Krupetsky, Director of Business Development for Institutions and Capital Markets at Ava Labs. Smaller deal sizes and lower investment minimums are made economically viable. Yeah, to everybody. Liquid, instantaneous, right? Peer-to-peer. Tokenization lets you create liquidity for things that aren't liquid today. Imagine the amount of business that could be done. All right, now this is the example that everybody's gonna see and be like, oh, it makes sense now. Like all these people, naysayers from the past, these banks and institutions that said blockchain is crap, Bitcoin is crap. This here puts things into perspective, and you can realize now why this is like the future, no doubt about it. So let's take a look at this example and see why it's just unstoppable. Remember, you're still early. Even the more ho-hum business projects like shipping grain could benefit from tokenization. Another hypothetical. A shipper wants to send grain across the ocean. Typically, the shipper would get financing from a bank. They would collateralize the loan with the grain. That's something that's well suited to come on-chain because it involves cross-border finance, says Powell. He views the current system as analogous to Blockbuster Video versus Netflix. Now think about this. If I'm a Blockbuster and I'm currently in Brazil and I want to serve a client in Bulgaria, I have to set up a Blockbuster branch in Bulgaria, says Powell. If I'm Netflix, the person just has to have an internet connection. Now think about that. Wow. This is the future, right? So back to the grain shipping. Instead of only being able to get loans from banks in Brazil or Bulgaria, the grain shipper could now, through tokenization, find capital from anywhere on the planet. You're in the streaming world of Netflix. It turns the global financial market into a clearinghouse, says Powell. Think of the possibilities, right? Whereas, like, you can use DeFi protocols, take your NFTs, put them up for collateral, get loans, do things that you want to do. This is the future. Take responsibility for your own actions, be your own bank, be your own boss, cut out the intermediaries, and that's it, right? Screw these big boys. All right, so come to the crypto realm. I got some must-read books for you. Check them out. Some great titles. One Nation Under Blackmail, Whitney Webb, The Deep State Encyclopedia, The Creature from Jekyll Island, and we got the real Anthony Fauci here. Check that out. Tamara, Lich, Hold the Line. Support these people, support these authors, and it also helps support the channel. Thank you everybody for watching. You're still early. Play hard. Trade smart.